Welcome to the Visitor Parking Podcast. Righteous Rides provides vans to missionaries when they're in the U.S. on furlough. We hope you enjoy this story from one of our recent guests.
Welcome to Visitor Parking. With us here today is Seth. Seth, tell us a little bit about what brings you into Righteous Rides today.
I'm returning a van that we used for the last year from 2022 until today, which is 2023 in June.
How was your furlough experience?
It was good. We find the vans, this is the second time that we've gotten a Righteous Rides van, and we find it to be extremely useful and it meets our needs very well, both for the carrying capacity and also for the number of seats and everything. So it's reliable, it's hassle-free, aside from having to come to St. Louis at the beginning and the end. But other than that, it's hassle-free.
So what will you be returning to?
We'll be returning to the Philippines, where I am a teacher at Faith Academy, which is a school that's especially for the children of missionaries serving in Southeast Asia. And so by teaching their children, we allow all of those ministries to go forward without the parents having to worry about their children and their children's future, because they know that they're getting a good education.
What do you teach there?
I teach high school science mostly, but I also teach an ethics class. My wife is the regional director for Southeast Asia for TEAM, which is our mission organization.
Okay. Are there any stories that you want to share of God's power or things that happened in your ministry recently?
Yeah. During COVID, our students had a lot of struggles. Some of them did just fine and got through it without much trouble, but some struggled a lot. And one in particular, she wrote her story to me in the ethics class I just mentioned. There was a point in time when she started to have suicidal thoughts. And just as a side note for anybody who might be listening, having suicidal thoughts happens to a lot of people, and it's not their fault in most cases. So it's kind of like a mental illness, and they need to get help for it, right? So we shouldn't look down on anybody or think worse of them because they're considering suicide. It might be beyond their control. But in any case, so she started having these thoughts of committing suicide. And at one point, she was down enough and just felt enough like life wasn't worth it that she had made a plan and she put it into action. That's from what she wrote to me. She actually went forward with it. And then after she had executed the plan, her Bible app pinged at her, and she opened it, and the verse that it had sent to her was from Deuteronomy. I don't remember the exact reference, but it says, "Today I have given you the choice between life and death, between blessings and curses," or something like that. "Let heaven and earth witness your choice. Oh, that you would choose life so that you and your descendants might live." Something like that. It's not a direct quote. It's not an exact quote. You guys can probably find it yourselves. But anyway, that was the verse. I didn't even know that verse was in the Bible. And then that's the verse that pops up to her on that day. Well, and clearly she was writing to me about the story, so she is still alive today because God spoke to her directly in that moment.
That's an amazing story of God's power. Thank you for sharing your students' story. Mm-hmm. How can we be praying for your ministry and for your family as you move forward back to the Philippines?
For any missionary, the times when they're going to pick up a vehicle or bring it back, those are usually right around the same times of what we call transition, which is where you're switching lives from one life to a different life almost. Because living in the U.S. is very different from living in the Philippines, and the kinds of things that you do and people and saying goodbye to friends. So all of the stuff that happens when you completely move to a different country, that's what's going on with us right now. So yeah, prayer for all that kind of thing, especially for our kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Seth, for coming on Visitor Parking.